Hey guys, what's up? My name is Karen and today's video is a little overdue, but I'm finally filming it. It is my springtime book haul. So I've been accumulating a few books here and there over the past few months, so I figured it was probably finally time I would share them all with you. There's some really great books in this batch. There's a lot that I've just purchased, ones that have come to me through subscription boxes, all kinds of fun stuff, so I'm really excited to be able to share them with you right now. First up, we have Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. So this book is about three sisters who are equally heirs to the throne. They each have their own powers and they have to fight to the death in order to figure out which one will actually become queen. As I've said many times on my channel, I'm not super big into fantasy, but I have been trying to get into it a little more, and I think what really appealed to me with this one is that I'm actually the oldest of three sisters, so I thought the concept seemed very interesting, and since it is a duology, I think it's a duology instead of a series, I'm not sure, I thought this would be a really good one to actually get into and see how it plays out. Next up we have Shadow Song by S.J. Jones. To avoid spoilers, the Winter Song series is basically a retelling of Labyrinth that turns pretty dark. I myself actually have yet to read the first one, but it is super high on my TBR right now because I love Labyrinth. I'm obsessed with it. I've been wanting to read Winter Song for so long. So when I saw Shadow Song came out, I figured buying the sequel would actually motivate me to get going on that. Which, by the way, if you're fairly new to my channel, I tend to say phrases such as, I own that book but I haven't read it yet, or here's this book but I haven't gotten to the first one yet, a whole lot. That's just being adult, people. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have free time to sit around and read 100 books a year. Like, it is what it is. I love books. I love reading. I'm genuinely interested in every single book I talk about. It's just hard. It's really hard, people. Alright, and the next book I have is a collection of stories called Meet Cute. So many different authors were involved in this collection, and it's basically all cute stories about how different couples met. I just really like the concept behind this collection, and I'm really curious to see all the different takes on a meet cute situation. And the next book is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. It's about a 17-year-old girl named Alice whose grandmother, who is the author of a collection of dark fairy tales, has recently passed away. Shortly after that, her mother is actually kidnapped by a figure who claims to be a character from said novels. And Alice finds herself having to enter the world of her grandmother's fairy tales in order to rescue her mother. Something about this really appealed to me. I honestly don't know what. I just read the concept and I thought that that seemed so cool, and I think books like this will make my transition into fantasy a lot easier. Alright, next up is one that I am very excited about. It is Volume 4 of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and others. So since this is Volume 4, Volume 5 is on the way. I don't want to really spoil it for anybody, so I'll just say that this whole series follows a group of paper girls who wake up early one morning to deliver their paper routes, only to find that something strange is going on. Everyone seems to be missing, and there's basically aliens taking over their town. I have been totally loving this series ever since I received Volume 1 for Christmas. It has some really cool Stranger Things vibes to it, and I just love the girl power that's behind the characters. So I'm really excited to sit down and read this one, and I'm really excited for Volume 5 to come out closer to the end of this year. Alright, the next one is a freebie that I actually received from my friend Amanda, and I'm having a hard time taking this seriously. It is Lone Wolf Lawman by Dolores Fawson. It is a Harlequin intrigue book, and it is one she received for free because she used to review books a lot, so she had a bunch to give away. I graciously took it because I didn't realize what it was, and then she placed it on my desk at work, and I couldn't stop laughing. So it's basically about a Texas Ranger who is trying to track down a killer. And being Harlequin, it's probably going to be steamy. I'm basically just excited to sit down and read this one for a good laugh. Harlequin books like this technically aren't up my alley, but I'm willing to make an exception every now and then. The next one I actually received from my grandma. It's called Witch Life, Land or Sea by Melina Douglas. So this book is about a teenager that actually discovers she's half mermaid, and she discovers a puddle where she can actually go down, and she discovers this whole other life that she never knew was possible for her. She then struggles to figure out how she can live these two separate lives. My grandma actually stumbled upon Melina doing a book signing in Sarnia, so she decided it would be really cool to actually grab this book for me and actually get Melina to sign it. I believe this book is self-published, so I think that's very cool that she's been doing all this work to help herself promote the book. And it seems like a fairly interesting story, and I do totally love mermaids, so I'm excited to actually get to this at some point. Next up, we have The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one by Amanda Lovelace. This is, of course, the follow-up to The Princess Saves Herself in this one. So both books are just absolutely amazing collections of poetry. Super excited to actually sit down and read this one, and to just feel empowered by everything Amanda has to say, as always. Alright, next up, I have a signed first edition of The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. I, of course, received this in my first ever Indigo book box, so if you haven't seen my unboxing video for that, make sure you check it out. The Fates Divide is, of course, the sequel to Carve the Mark. Carve the Mark follows two characters that live in totally different worlds that are now at war with each other. Fate somehow brings them together, and the two must make sense with their feelings for each other and everything that's happening around them. Again, another series that I haven't started yet, but I will get there, I promise, and I am just so pumped about it. Like, please give me time. Alright, and the next book is actually from my first ever Scribbler box. It is More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer. So this book follows two characters, Rev and Emma, who come together one night and are able to confide in each other in the dark secrets from their past. This was part of Scribbler's Emotional Touchpoints box, so if you haven't seen my unboxing of that, make sure you definitely check that out. Seems like an extremely emotional book, so I'm just so pumped to sit down with this one and have a good cry. And the next little book I have was one of the ones included in the April box for Scribbler, and it is 100 Ways to Improve Your Writing by Gary Provost. Basically just a guide on how to actually improve the craft of writing, whether it's your spelling and grammar, whether it's how to come up with an idea, overcome writer's block, all sorts of different areas that can be problematic for writers. So if you've been following my channel, you know I recently joined AuthorTube, and I've stated for a really long time that I am a writer, so I'm just super pumped to use this to help me work on my writing. I am probably going to butcher the name of the author in this next book, but this tiny little thing is called Little Black Book, A Toolkit for Working Women by Otega Owegba. Probably wrong, and I'm really sorry. So this is basically just a little guide for working women in creative fields on how to make the most out of their careers. So if you have been following my channel, you know that I am a professional woman as well as a creative woman. I do actually work at Wattpad, so this is totally in line with a lot of the work that I do, and I've been looking for more books that will help with career development, so I'm excited to sit down and read this in a little reading session. And the next book I picked up just for fun, it's called Basic Witches by J.S. Saxena and Jess Zimmerman. Subtitle for this is How to Summon Success, Banish Drama, and Raise Hell with Your Coven. So it's basically like the basic girl's guide to witchcraft. To me, that just seems so funny and like such a great idea. And witchcraft is something that's always kind of appealed to me from a writing point of view. So I really wanted to pick this up. I figured it would be a great laugh and actually be a tiny bit informative. So I'm super excited to get into this one. Second last book, people. This is the second book that was actually in Scribbler's April box, and it is The Beloveds by Maureen Lindley. This book is about a woman named Betty who is super jealous of her sister Gloria. Gloria has always seemed to get everything from good looks to the best friends to the man that Betty always felt would be her husband, and she even recently inherited her family's house. Betty, who's just so overcome with jealousy, decides she's going to get her own revenge and take back the house that should be hers, but some bad things happen along the way that she can never take back. This was part of Scribbler's Point of View box, so if you haven't checked that review out as well, make sure you do. I think this plays into the theme very well, and I'm super excited to see what Maureen did to really highlight the point of view angle in this book. And the last book that I have here is The Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro and Daniel Kraus. Everybody should know by now that The Shape of Water was an absolutely amazing movie. It won Oscars. It did such a great job at telling its story. It follows a mute woman at a laboratory who falls in love with this creature that they are keeping for experiments that she eventually works to help it escape from the laboratory. So this is kind of an example where the movie actually came before the book, but I'm super excited to read this as well. I think it'll be just as beautiful as the movie. And that is it for my springtime book haul. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite book out of this bunch was, or which ones you're most looking forward to reading. And if you'd like to see more bookish videos from me, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and that you hit the little notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I release a new video. Again, thank you for watching. As always, spread love and don't be a troll. Bye!